Hi friends, hi family. I'm back on here to talk to you about intergenerational trauma. I want to zoom in on childhood trauma that includes adverse childhood experiences. And remember, I talked about the general idea, the general helplessness and latching on to people who might be coming into our communities. And I have a concern for our children and all these people coming into our communities and the things we were seeing leading up to Hurricane Melissa with the harm for children and disappearing children and children being excommunicated and missing. There's something called adverse childhood experiences. And I want parents to be careful of this opportunity of devastation and what it presents for those who are predators, who want to come in and groom little boys and girls and harm them and perpetuate this oppression and this intergenerational trauma. Look out for the children. People are coming in and bringing things under the guise of helping, but around the corner, we don't know what they're doing and what their motive is around the children. Be vigilant with the children, because this adverse childhood experience, and I'm not going to list them on here because I don't want to get so graphic, but you know what I'm talking about. People would have experienced adverse childhood events and experiences for years that they don't talk about, and that is perpetuating ill and violence and anger and aggression in our society. So it's important for us to note and to be vigilant. Not everybody who come to help is coming to help. Some might be coming to help themselves. So it's important for us to understand that adverse childhood events or experiences, or ACE, significantly increase long-term risks of developing anxiety and depression by disrupting stress response systems and emotional regulation, making the brain hypersensitive to perceived threats, impairing self-control, and difficulty managing emotions, which can manifest as severe chronic mental health issues. And mental health issues is something that we don't talk about enough in our Jamaican society. Trauma increases risk because it leads to changes in the brain and also biological changes. So children learn to interpret the world through trauma. Caregivers may be untrustworthy, so the behavioral issues that might show up in school, leading to difficulty identifying, expressing emotions. Trauma rewires threat detection, causing hypervigilance and misinterpreting neutral social cues as threatening, increasing conflict and anxiety. Trauma hinders the development of self-control, which is a key factor in managing stress and emotions, increasing vulnerability to depressive symptoms. Common manifestations of trauma include anxiety, so constant worry, irritability, difficulty concentrating, sleep problems, emotional outbursts, and heightened reactions to reminders of trauma. There's also depression, which can manifest itself as persistent sadness, loss of interest, low energy, loss of appetite and sleep changes, feelings of worthlessness, and even self-harm. And you can also have what we call comorbidity, which is where you can have two or more conditions living together. So anxiety and depression often occur together, with many youth experiencing both. I've stopped by to share this information because in periods of devastation resulting from natural disasters, folks might have trauma from that event itself and also comorbidities from other events. And the risk of adverse childhood events is even greater, where people are living in conditions where you don't have the safety of the walls of the home, and people are in a depressed state, meaning that they are without, they're lacking, the stress levels are high, and the vigilance for the children might become diminished. And so the harm to children can be heightened. Remember, I said, not everybody who is coming to help is coming to help. Some people are looking for the opportunity to help themselves. Believe it or not, this world, as much as it is a kind place, it is also an unkind place. This message is not to bring doom and gloom, because our Jamaican people, despite the intergenerational trauma, are a people of resilience. But as I said before, on the backside of resilience is hardship. And hardship leads to adverse psychological events that we have to learn how to cope with. And I'm worried about the violence, the aggression, and the crime that might escalate from these conditions that people find themselves living in. And intergenerational trauma is no excuse for these things, but it's a window into why these things happen. And the more we understand these things is the more that we can overcome them. And so this is the purpose of the video today. I want you to understand this culture that we've become, that we've accepted as norm. Think about it. What are the opportunities coming out of this hardship that I can latch upon so that I can survive, so that I can rise up, so that I can protect my children, so that I can write into my gene pool a different day, a different way of living for my generation to come. Friends, it's important for us to spread this information because we want to take care of each other. We don't want to perpetuate intergenerational trauma. It will take years for us to overcome, but we can start. We can start today by taking care of each other because we are our brothers' keepers. Remember, a merry heart doeth good like a medicine, and a broken spirit dries the bones. If each one takes care of the person in front of and beside him, everyone will be taken care of. I'm Dr. Tamara, your online epidemiologist. Take care now.